Hey guys, it's been an amazing journey, but DJ Nova is coming to an end. Bank loans. I took about a total of about $50,000 in to now be negative 50 bands. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CHIDO Talk podcast, the number one podcast, the number one Latino podcast in New York, according to my jefa. Welcome, guys. My name is Edwin. A lot of people know me as DJ Nova, and yeah, guys, it's a new venture for me. Happy New Year to everyone. What a fucking year, 2024. I'm pretty sure for everyone, when I hop on my Instagram, all I see is I will never forget 2024. I'm ready for 2025, but I feel the same way. Guys, happy New Year. I hope this year brings you guys a lot of prosperity. Un chingo de billete, un chingo de lana. You know, we all need it. They say money's not everything, but helps a lot, you know. So yeah, guys, welcome to this new project. I'm sorry, a little nervous. First episode out. But yeah, welcome to this new project that I have going on called the CHIDO Podcast. I am your host, DJ Nova. I run a company called Nova Events. I'm a DJ for over 5 years now. And I would like to share with you guys a little bit about my journey, as well as the journey of other people that, you know, are in the industry, or maybe not even in the industry, but, you know, people are just like us, you know, a couple of young 20-year-olds trying to grind, trying to make it. For myself, I don't know anybody else that's watching or listening, but for myself, trying to make it in New York City, which is extremely difficult. I'm pretty sure it's extremely difficult to make it in any city, but New York City, you know, anybody that lives here knows that everything is extremely high, and we're nowhere near looking like Dubai. But yeah, guys, like I said, my name is Edwin. I started DJing at a very, very young age, probably like 13, 14. You know, the typical, you know, your parents take you to a party, and basically I would be right near the sonido, you know, rubbing up on the sonido, like, pause. um, Being next to the sonido and seeing, you know, what he was doing, and I got very intrigued by the sound, the lighting, the way he, you know, the DJ would control a crowd. I got very, very intrigued to that, and that stuck with me. That was like all I needed to spark that interest in DJing. So yeah, I started with, you know, the typical. I had a really, really old, one of those like really fat laptops, a Dell laptop, really fat. One of the, I think it was for school, if I'm not wrong. Um, I started with that, and I just started, you know, before Spotify, before Apple Music, before, you know, even YouTube was like really a big thing now. Basically, you would have to download music from like these really, you know, sketchy websites, and I would download a bunch of music from there. You know, it's funny because sometimes you would get the music and like it would be in like another language or whatever. Really, 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 damn, makes me feel old. Really, really different times we had back then. But that's how I started with the really old, you know, laptop. I can't remember, 13, 14 years old. I am now 25 years young. I'm sorry. And yeah, started about, you know, a little over a decade ago. And basically, you know, I just wanted to grind for many years. From that point on, when I started seeing the sonidos take, you know, the music to where it was till now, it's been an incredible change, at least in New York. You know, the cumbia culture is very big now. The sonido culture is very big now. It was back then, but back then it was more niche. It was more, you know, ibas a la fiesta de tu prima, los 15 años, and, you know, maybe you knew who the sonido was, maybe you didn't. Now, you know, because of YouTube, because of all these YouTubers, you know, it's making this culture super big, which is amazing. It's incredible, you know, that New York is being known for that culture. But yeah, that's the culture that actually attracted me when I was very young. And like I said, started with the laptop, and then I let my dad know. My dad was like, you know, he was all for it. He was like, yeah, if you want it. My dad's always been, if you want it, go for it. You know, my mom, on the other hand, not too thrilled. But now, you know, mi jefa, shout out to my jefa. She's one of my biggest supporters now. You know, I really love my parents. You know, now it's a completely different thing. Now they see I take it more serious. You know, it's a completely different thing now because I am a man now, and I also am running a full fledged business. You know, And it's amazing that I can sometimes even bring make them part of the business. I can incorporate them one way or another into my business, which is amazing. But yeah, so I started. Funny enough, I'll tell you my starts. My brother actually was with me. Shout out to my brother. When this whole thing was going on, my brother, was also very down to, like, do this as a unity type of thing, together. And yeah, we started. I mean, he was always into music too. Actually, I got to give him a shout out because he was the first one that well, I discovered music, a playlist because of him. He had one of those really old, tower computers, and when he was gone, I would go into his room, and I would mess around with, like, the stuff he had, and then I would, I know he would tell me, like, don't go in my room, but I would go in his room and I'd go in his computer and check out all, like, the programs and stuff like that. Remember, this is a decade ago, so computers were not what they were right now. So I would play around with, the games he had, and then I discovered, like, the iTunes app where he had all the old reggaeton, all the Wisin y Yandel, Don Omar, Alexis y Fido, Plan B, Chencho, all of that. And I fell in love with it immediately. I fell in love with, the beats, the lyrics, even though I was very young to be listening to that. But I was very intrigued into music in general, and knowing that I can, I was pretty tech savvy from a beginning, so I was able to transfer over that music into back then. Sheesh, I do sound old. Into one of those iPods, transferred over music. I had one of those wired headphones. I'm pretty sure everybody had, the gummy headphones, where you would buy at the bodega at the corner. You would get your chopped cheese with your gummy headphones for like 10.99, whatever it was, and your Arizona. Can't forget the bev. Um, but yeah, my brother was always a big part of it in the beginning. Now he's doing his own thing, but my brother was a big part of it in the beginning. He helped me start by actually, it was his one of his friends, one of his close friends, that actually hired me for my first paid gig. Again, now we're around 14 years old. My brother sees that I have a real passion for this. My dad sees I have a real passion for this. So my brother's like, let's do it. Let's just whatever we got right now. Let's just start, DJing for free. Little house parties here and there. And yeah, we did. For my aunts, my uncles, we started, playing, which we didn't even know it was DJing, but we started playing, for their parties, without even a mic, just putting music, random. And my brother actually had speaker cars, the nerves. Uh, car speakers, and that's what we started. And if you know a little bit about audio or car audio, you know that car speakers are, like, they sound different than home speakers, or let alone DJ speakers. So it sounds and looked kind of funny, actually. We would pull up with these, like, wood covered speakers. If you know about audio, you know what I'm talking about. It's like these, like, double speakers with, like, a carpet covering. But that's all we had. That's all we had, and we made it work. We grabbed my dad's home theater. Funny enough, thank God he was on our side, so he was like, "Take it." We grabbed my dad's home theater. We put everything together, and we made it work. All I wanted is to make it work. And yeah, for a couple parties, we started DJing for free, maybe $50, maybe $100. And I loved it. My brother was always, with me, coming in and out of the house at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, dragging speakers and cables and any basically random piece of equipment that we had. I remember that one time I went to a dollar store, and I found this, like, really cool light that's like a globe, kind of like right now what DJs use as a mirror ball, but it had color, and it was really cool. It was like 19.99, and I'm like, that's it. I'm gonna use that. So I bought that. I bought that with, like, whatever money I had at the time. Remember, I'm, teenager. Whatever money I had at the time, I bought it, and that's what we took. We took dollar store lights, car speakers, and an old beat up computer to gigs, for a little while, until we got our first call, per se, for a booking. And it was actually one of his close friends that was doing a baby shower. And when my brother told me, hey, they actually want to book us for a backyard party, I mean, I was thrilled. I thought I thought I made it. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the start of. And actually, now thinking about it, it kind of was. We got called, and basically they told us, hey, it's gonna be a baby shower. You don't got to bring much because it's in a backyard, and if you know New York, anything past 12, you're getting the cops called on you. So we were like, yeah, no problem. We won't bring too much. Little did they know we didn't have anything, or not a lot at least. But yeah, so basically we, grabbed whatever we had, grabbed my dad's minivan, threw everything in there. It was a Saturday. It was in the summer. It's boiling hot. We get there, we install. I take a look back at what I do now. I go to the center of the dance floor, which was like the center of the backyard. I take a 360 spin, or 180 actually. I do a 180 spin. I look at the equipment, and I'm like, I love this. This is me. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do the rest of my life. Um, that just like sparked like the what's next. The what's next. Okay, I did this. What's next? What's the next event I can get? What's the next um piece of equipment I can get? And from then on, right after that, I actually remember the next gig. Now that I'm remembering, with my cousin. Shout out to my cousin Omar. We had a party with him as well. I think he was the one that got the client. I don't remember exactly who got the client, but again, it was like in a driveway of somebody's house, and same thing. And then my cousin had like also a couple speakers, a couple of like Halloween strobe lights or something like that. But same thing. It was like, I started playing music. Funny enough, since it was a driveway and like, the street was like nearby, there was people, or yeah, like remember it's a Saturday night, so people are like walking, they're going out partying or to the club. So there was people trying to get in. There's like a gate, and they're like, "Oh, is this like how much you got to pay to get in?" And then I remember my brother telling me like, "No, this is a private event. It was like a birthday party or something like that." But yeah, same thing. Like I would just that fueled me more, and to let me know that if people want to come in, and they see it's a cool vibe, I got something going, and I have to make something out of this. So my dad also caught notice of my passion, my growing passion for the music, my growing passion for being a DJ and everything that surrounded it. And yeah, one day actually, if you guys know New York, the people that don't know New York, I live in Queens. Queens is like near, well, it's basically part of Long Island. It's a big island, and in Jamaica, there's this Walmart, Green Acres, if I'm not wrong. There's this Walmart, and there was well, now it's like all gentrified, and it looks very beautiful. But before, it was just like, it was known, that area was known for the Walmart. It had a really big Walmart, really ghetto Walmart, really big Walmart, and basically there was also a huge connecting parking lot right next to that Walmart. Drop in the comments and let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Uh, if you know the flea market that was there. So, flea market, swap me, whatever you want to call it. There was a flea market there, and that was my dad's activity for the weekend, to take us to the flea market, take us to Walmart. That was our activity. And say what you want, but till now, till this day, I remember that as, and I hold those moments close to my heart. It's now that, my dad has his own thing going on, everybody, the family has their own thing going on. Those are the moments that I remember where, as a family, we were really, really together. But anywho, so we go to that parking lot, and we're just roaming around. Mind you, it's a flea market. There's like just a bunch of random things on the floor, like on tables, like a bunch of used stuff. And I stumble up upon these huge speakers. I'm gonna pop up a picture if I can find them on Google, but they're like huge speakers. So if you imagine your wardrobe, where you keep your clothes, kind of that size. Two huge speakers, like they look kind of new. I remember there was this one lady, and I asked how much. Now I don't remember exactly how much those speakers were, but I asked her how much are the speakers, and she tells me the price, and I'm like, shoot. And I remember every time we would go to that flea market, my dad would hand me a $20 bill or a $10 bill, something like that. And he would say, go get whatever you want. Mind you, back then, $20, $10, it was a lot. So you could probably get a lot, with $20, $10, especially in the flea market. So, I, as a sad little kid, sad story, fucking, little piano, I pull out my 20, and I remember, obviously, it was not $20 for what she was asking for the speakers, and I put it back in my pocket, right? I believe my dad sees that in the corner of his eye, if I'm not wrong. He sees that and he approaches the lady and he asks her what, cuánto por las bocinas? And the lady tells her, and my dad's like, sold. He pulls out whatever it was. I can't remember, 300. I don't remember exactly. And he starts paying for them, and I see them, and it's like, I will hold that memory for the rest of my life, because my dad, is my, we were not very close to begin with growing up. I come from a broken family. That kind of made us, separate as well. But that moment I hold very close to my heart because it was my dad showing, you know support to to me, showing his dad's side, and to me it meant a lot. In the moment I probably didn't even think much of it. All I was probably thinking is like, yes, I got new speakers. But he pulls out the cash and he starts paying for them, and my mom breaks her neck and looks at my dad and is like, what are you doing? My mom was not very fond of my liking into this, like, Sony there the world, because she was like, there's a lot of good things that come with this. There's like, the you want to pursue to be something good, you want to, you like the music or whatever. But there was also, remember back then, 10 years ago, life was a little bit, life is a little sketchy still now, but life was a little bit sketchier back in those days. We're talking about like 10 years ago. um like I said, I come from Queens, Corona, Queens, so it was a little sketchy around here. So she was not very fond of that purchase, and she made my dad know it. But anyways, basically we buy the speakers, even with my mom like screaming at my dad, like, where are we, like, I remember we had to buy straps to strap the freaking speakers on top of the car. We look like, if you ever seen the movie Cars, I'm pretty sure I've ever seen the movie Cars, when the little minivan is driving next to Mac with the what is it, the colchon, like flopping like this. That was us. That was us driving back home with like these huge speakers. We lived in the second floor. But to me it was like, to me they were, the best. Coming from like car speakers and dollar store lights to those, speakers that, like I said, I'm gonna pop up a picture. But coming to those speakers that look like they were meant to DJ, um, it was everything to me. And then from then on, that's when, like, I just kept getting fueled by this, like, loving energy for the music, for the crowd, for making a crowd dance. That was like my biggest thing. I remember the first time we debuted those speakers was at a family New Year's party. Ironically, Happy New Year's to everyone. And that's when I brought out, like, everything, like everything I had basically. But um I remember bringing out those speakers. I remember, even my tios, my tias, looking at me like, oh, okay, he's actually, he got something going. I sounded horrible on the mic because I grabbed the mic that one time. Horrible. I hopefully don't want to find videos of that time, but I sounded horrible. But it was a start again. And then years flowed on. I'm gonna be honest with you, school was not for me. So I had a very tough time in school. I was transferred, from one school to another. In more of my high school years, up to middle school, I was a very very good kid in school. Actually, I had a couple awards by, like, the state and stuff like that. But after that, and also, because of the my parents' separation, which would happen around those times, I don't want to blame it to it, but it definitely affected me. And I took a little bit of a hit academically because I started being, the rebel. I didn't go into school, and, like, things I'm not very proud of now. But that only pushed me closer to the music. And then one time I remember, because we were, again, my brother, shout out to my brother, he's always been from the start. He's been there with me. So during those times, we're, rolling around, like, I'm 14 years old now, around there. I can't remember the exact timeline. But basically, my brother finds a light or something like that on. I remember back then, now it's the Facebook Market. Now you can find anything in the Facebook Market. I'll be honest with you guys. I found this chair in the Facebook Market for $30. This chair is like a $250 chair. It was brand new, basically. So we're chilling. But basically, yeah, before the Facebook Market, it was OfferUp. I don't know if you guys know, but it was OfferUp. That's what the app was called, OfferUp. And my brother found, I believe it was a light or something like that. It was way sketchier than it is now. Now there's like this all safety protocols, way sketchier than it was there was now. But basically, my brother's like, "Hey, we're gonna go pick up this light." We grabbed my dad's minivan. We drove to this guy's house. Really cool dude, and he shows us the light. He's like, "Hey, yeah, the light is like, so and so. It costs this much." And then my brother points out a little DJ controller. I'll pop it up right here so you guys can see. It's like, a lot of people call it a DJ mixer, people that don't know, but it's really called a DJ controller. That's what the official term is. And that's where, like, you do the wiki. That's what it is. And then my brother, remind you, back then I was only rocking with a computer, with, basically like a mouse and, playing one song and then the other one back then. Shout out to the OGs that know Virtual DJ. That was the app we would use, Virtual DJ. It's like you thought you were David Guetta with Virtual DJ. But basically, my brother, when we're at this guy's house buying this light, my brother sees in the corner of his eye, he sees a little DJ controller, the Newmark Mix Track 3 or something like that, or Newmark Mix Track whatever the version was. I'll pop up. I'm pretty sure I can find a picture, but I'll pop up the picture right here of what it was. It's like there, and then he asked the guy, "Hey, how much for the controller?" And he's like, $60, $50, something. He's like, dame 50, dame 60, whatever. My brother looks at me. He's like, "Hey, you have that amount in your pocket right now." Because it was like my birthday had passed or something had passed, but I had money, I had money from somehow. Remember, I'm 14, so I'm not working, obviously. But I had money somehow. And and I was like, I don't remember. I was like $20 short. My brother was like, "I'll put the other, 20 or whatever. Buy it." And then I looked at him like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm there yet to start, messing around. I'm thinking I'm good with my mouse and my computer. But he's like, "Come on, man, do it. Like, you're gonna love it." And man, that was the start of me actually DJing. I said, screw it. I gave the guy the $40, $60, whatever it was, took it home, connected it to the computer, and from there I was hooked to DJing, hooked to mixing one song to another and making it sound seamless. I was hooked from then on. And it was probably one of the best purchases I've made as a kid that has impacted my life now and will impact my life for the rest of my life, because I was hooked. And after that I learned. I went on, YouTube, or learned on myself, just messing around, how to mix music, how to do effects, how to do this, how to do that. And yeah, I mastered that thing. I knew, mastered that thing, quote unquote, to whatever I thought was I was mastering that thing. And yeah, basically, I just playing around all day in the house with that controller on my computer, annoying my mom all day, playing music really loud, getting noise complaints from the apartment. But yeah, that was my thing. I'm like, this is me. I'm gonna be a DJ. And I already had a little bit of speakers going on. Then, my dad again, one day out of nowhere, he walks into the apartment. He calls my mom and he's like, "Tell the kids to come down. I got something for them." And then, my dad is not very much of surprises, so that surprised me that he got a surprise that I thought, So my mom tells us, "Go downstairs. Your dad has something for you guys." And sure enough, it's the matching pair for the speakers, the subwoofers, for the speakers we bought at the flea market. And I was shook. I was like, "There's no way you got this for us." How life worked, or I don't know how it is. God, obviously, God always, is not. It was has always been on my side. But we get the matching pair of the speakers we already had, the subwoofers at least. The thing that goes boom, boom, that thing. We get the matching pair. Apparently, his friend had them somehow, and he sold it to him, and he brought him home. And basically, from then on, the empire started growing. Now I had the speakers. Now I had the controller. Now I had a nice setup. And yeah, like we started doing like little parties. Maybe not very frequent, but we had little parties. We would get paid out. Now we were charging a little bit more. Now we were balling. Now we're charging 300, 400, whatever it was. And yeah, we started doing little parties. We started, upgrading our lights from the dollar store lights to like, Walgreens during Halloween lights. I remember actually, I bought my first fog machine, my smoke machine from Walgreens. It was like $30. It came with the little liquid that it dispenses. Oh my god, I remember that clear as day. But yeah, from there, that's where everything started, flourishing. And then I discovered that is now like, every time I go in there, I buy something. Actually, after the pod, I have to go there to buy something for the next guest, for the next pod, for the next episode. But this store called IDJ Now, shout out to IDJ Now. I went in there, and if you know that store, it's basically, to if girls are watching, shout out to the girls watching. It's kind of like if you walked into Sephora, if you're into makeup, you want to get everything that's in there, kind of thing. A bunch of equipment, um, just laying out, and I saw this one controller. Remember, the controllers, like, the little mixy thing. And I saw this one controller, and I told my dad, I want that one. My dad, like I said, my dad has always been supportive. Till this day, he's a very, we're growing up, we were not very close, but now it's a completely different thing. But even still, before, even when we weren't close back then, he was always very supportive. And my dad looked at me, and he's like, it was like, now we're talking about, the other uh controller that I had was 40, $60, something like that. And this one was like almost $300. It's like $250, something like that. And basically, it was a huge upgrade. My dad looked at me, and he said, listen, it came out to like $300 or something like that. My dad said, listen, I'm gonna buy this for you, but you gotta do everything in your power to pay me at least half back. At least half, $150. Which, in me, I'm like, bro, yeah, you're gonna say yes to anything. If you really want something, you're gonna say yes to anything. So I was like, let's do it. I'll pay you back. I'll see how what I do, but I'll sell. Anything I have to do. Collect bottles and sell them at the supermarket. I'll do whatever I need to do, but I'll pay you back. I promise. I promise. I'll pay you back. And then, yeah, my dad bought it, and I never paid him back. By the way, I still owe him that. But don't worry, once I make it, G wagon is gonna be parked in his driveway. But yeah, I bought the well, he bought it for me. Now we're talking about a nicer, which was like the next model to the one I had before, or like two models over, like the newest one basically. That one was the Newmark Mix Track 3. I can remember that exactly. It was like a nice little gray speaker. I'm sorry, great controller, not great speaker. And yeah, basically, uh, I was hooked, with that controller, and I was hooked with that controller, and basically, I started again mastering it, how to work it, how to use it basically. And then that's where my first DJ name came from. Shout out to anyone that knows my first DJ name before I even say it. It's a very hidden thing. I started thinking, okay, I think I'm like, the family knows me now. I want to get known. I want to, put my name out there, but I need a name. What am I going to name myself? And I started thinking. Back then, there was no chat GPT to help you out, or like, so I started thinking, what the hell am I going to call myself? And I started brainstorming, or what I thought was brainstorming. And I looked down at my controller. My controller said mix track. So I'm like, that's it, DJ Mix Track. And that's where the first name started, DJ Mix Track. And then, I started going with that name. I had, back then I used to be a graphic designer. Well, I guess I still am, but I learned, I self-taught myself how to do graphic design. Nothing crazy, but I designed my logo. I made it like looking cool. I'll pop it up right here because I still have it. I'll pop up the logo right here. Um, but yeah, basically, that was the start. The start of the DJ mix track. That was the start of my first name. I remember that people would ask me, "So what's your DJ name? What's your DJ name?" And mind you, they would ask me in Spanish, "¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te haces llamar?" And I remember saying mix track. That sounded funny as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Even now it sounds corny as hell. And I'm like, what the hell? That no bueno. That does not sound good. So I'm like, I have to change the fucking name. I have to change it. So basically, um for a little while I rock that DJ mix track name. But yeah, basically it was the only thing I had going on. And then I remember, and one thing I remember from here is where DJ Nova comes. I remember, like I said, I was kind of good in school, so one of my favorite subjects was science. And I remember in science they were teaching us about stars and supernovas. Which supernova is, I'll give you a quick rundown. It's basically when a star explodes. When it reaches the end of its life, it explodes and it turns into a black hole, and it's called a supernova. And I was like, that sounds sick, but supernova sounds a little too long. I don't know. I kind of didn't mess with it, and then there was already a DJ Casanova. Which, shout out to DJ Casanova. I met him, amazing dude. Um, he was a radio DJ. And I'm like, I kind of don't want to copy the Casanova. I remember at one point we actually later on in the story we met up in an event. I was DJing with him, and I asked him. I was like, hey man, I want to call myself DJ this. Would you be okay with it? And he said, dude, do what you got to do. There's no, there's really cool, really humble guy, DJ Casanova, from 96.1. I don't know what radio I don't know. He's been in he's had a lot of opportunities. So I don't know what radio station he's in now, but he's one of those radio DJs. And basically he was, basically gave him his blessing to keep going. And with the name. But again, I didn't want to make it supernova because I thought it was too long. So I just made it Nova, DJ Nova, and it rolled off. Very good off your tongue, DJ Nova. In Spanish, ¿cómo te llamas? DJ Nova. Oh, cool. And it was, the best decision I ever had. I love the name now. Nova everything. Now we have Nova events, which is really cool. But yeah, that was basically the start. And then off of there, I started. Now we're like, I'm around 15, 16 ish. Uh, Again, now I'm going through like, through my parents separating. Took a major toll on me. But I was distracted by the music. I was distracted by, all those bad things going on. I was distracted, not that it was like horrible, but all those bad things, like I was distracted by the music. I was distracted by, anything surrounding it. And then we started getting our first opportunities. Well, I started getting my first opportunities to DJ in really cool locations. I built my little crowd. I had a couple people, now in high school and, around the city that, that would fuck with me. And it was amazing. I had my Facebook page, my Instagram page, and I had a couple of people that rocked with me, and shout out to everyone that rocked me back then and still rocking with me now. Um Basically, I started, there was these I started getting sound like a broken record. I started getting opportunities to DJ these really cool parties, and a lot of people are gonna know what I'm talking about. To the West End event parties, Chaba Hall parties. So I started getting like hit up by different promoters. And that's when I started meeting the boys, my boys. Now shout out to my boys like DJ Styles, DJ Cabrera, DJ Junior. Shout out to DJ Junior. A bunch of other DJs, and I realized that they were all in the same thing. They were all in like the same vibe, and that just kept it fueling for me more. And you know, I started doing like these huge, crazy parties of like for 400 people in the parties, and basically that was kind of a little bit of a taste of what it could be. Mind you, back then we were teens. Allegedly it was an underage party, allegedly, but it was like we would fill up these huge venues. They were like catering halls. We would fill up these huge catering halls, and oh man, if I can find videos, I'll post them. But you know, one, the people that know, if you know, like we would fill up these huge venues, super packed them with people, and we would like rock these parties out. And now we're talking about like around the Takashi 69 area era and all of that. But it was just like a little taste of what this could come out to be, right? And like I said, my boys know. Shout out to the boys that we're also DJing. We're also in the grind. I know they had the grind way before. Um, but yeah, that's when I started seeing the taste of what a DJ career could be. And yeah, man, from there basically we started DJing, events here and there, and then I started picking up more professional private events, if you can say that, like weddings and sweet 16s or whatever. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey from then. Basically, it's an amazing journey. I've started the Nova Events company, a little bit after that. Um, but yeah, after that, for a little while, I was actually during 2019. I was actually basically for the second half of the year. I was basically a full time DJ now. I used to work in a restaurant before, and I fucking hated it. I'm not gonna lie. If you work in a restaurant, shout out to you because it's horrible. I was a busboy, not for me. I hate it. I hate it, and I much respect to everyone that works in the restaurant field. Everyone, the waiters, the cooks, the bro, especially in New York City. These bougie ass restaurants. You know, in the kitchen is a bunch of paisas cooking your meals, and they cook hella good. You all these nice pastas or whatever. It's a bunch of paisas, and they know what they're doing. Respectfully, you gotta give a shout out to them because they know what they're doing. I remember, but basically for the second half of the year I just went full-time DJ with what I had. Now I had a little bit more. I started investing into the gigs I got. I reinvested into, like, newer gear. Remember, because the gear I had was like, kind of old. It was everything to me, but it's older gear. Huge, bulky. So I remember 2019. I'm investing. I'm getting a little speaker here, a little speaker there, cables here, cables there. And then 2020 comes around and COVID hits. And I'm pretty sure everyone took a huge financial toll. A lot of, if you were not an essential worker, pretty much you were donezo. And obviously, I'm a DJ. I'm the furthest away from an essential worker. So, obviously contracts started getting canceled and parties started getting canceled. And I started freaking out, because I just invested a little bit of money into my DJ equipment. So basically, uh, I was like, shit, what am I gonna do now? Now I had a family. I am a father of a 5 year old, amazing, beautiful son. Now I had a family, and I was like, shit, what am I gonna do now? Well, I need to pay rent. I need to pay bills. What am I gonna do now? And I was almost full time DJ. I was freaking out. I'll be honest with you. I was freaking out. That was one of the worst times of my life. I'm pretty sure of many people's life, but now I took on a role of a father, and it was rough. It was rough because I thought I was gonna make it. I thought this was it. I thought this was the start of like an amazing journey, and it was. But during that moment, it was incredibly difficult because there was no parties. There was nothing. I was the head of the house basically. I was the only one working, and it was a real struggle. And I remember at one point I even I kind of gave up. Internally, um, I kind of gave up, and I actually posted it. I remember I posted on one of my stories, and I said, "Hey guys, it's been an amazing journey, but DJ Nova is coming to an end. Thank you for everyone that rocked with me, but I'm giving it all up, and I hope everyone enjoyed the music I was able to push out. The events I was able to push out, but we'll leave it out. We're gonna leave it there." And to me, it was like, man, I remember I was destroyed when I had to post that because internally I was like, listen, man, you have to get a real job, and like what I thought was a real job, get a real job, and feed your family, make sure they're always fed, make sure you have a roof over your head. And that was, it was hard to come to that conclusion. But when I did post that, I remember getting messages from people that I didn't even know were looking into me, or were following me, or were following my journey. And I just got a bunch of messages from like random people that I knew, but it was like, people that I didn't know that, um, even cared. And they were like, hey, why are you going to quit? You've had such a, you know, um, cool career. Like, why? This is what you do, this is what you love, you can't quit, you can't call it quits, and you can't, and so many positive messages. Shout out to everyone that, I don't remember exactly who it was, but shout out to everyone that actually hit me with those messages, because those messages were like, if it wasn't for them, I would have this podcast would probably not even be a thing. I was completely, destroyed. The fact that I had to sell all my gear because I had to pay rent, feed my family, and I was destroyed. And I started, that's what kind of got me into posting that, because I was starting, the speakers I had just acquired, a couple, maybe 1 2 months ago. Now I was selling them at, like, at 60% discount, on offer up or Facebook Market, I don't remember. I bought two TVs, I bought a couple of lights, and everything the same way it came in, the same way as it left. So that's why, I always say, stay humble, because the same way, easy come, easy go, as well as fast as things can come, is as fast as they can go, So always be appreciative for what you have when you have it, Um, but during those times, I was destroyed because I had to sell all my gear. I had to sell my speakers, my lights, all the little bit that I've worked super hard for through those years. I had to sell it off, and that's what made me decide essentially to give it all up. And that's when I posted that. But again, those super amazing messages from those people, kind of made me like rethink about it. I'm like, hey, you can't just quit. This is just a bump on the road. A huge bump on the road, but you can't just quit. You're not a quitter. And I didn't. I held on to it. I still sold off basically like 80%, 90% of what I had. And I didn't have much, but but you know what they say, it's really true. And that's like, I'm a physical or real proof of God will remove something from you and put something 10 times better you never even knew was going to come for you. um so yeah, COVID, it ends, or restrictions start easing off around, late 2020, early 2021. And then the winter of 2021 comes around, and I'm like, hey man, I can't quit. I can't give up. Mind you, I'm broke. I'm extremely broke. I have nothing to my name, basically. It's bad times, basically bad times. And I'm like, how can I do this? How can I have no capital to my name, no money to invest, nothing. Um, so I'm like, you know what? Es todo o nada. Shout out to my friend. That's one of her quotes. Es todo o nada. Um, so I was like, listen, I'm gonna start getting loans, and how I'm gonna pay them, God will know, but I will pay them back. And through the winter of 2021 to the spring of 2021, I, from, like, friends and family and bank loans, I took about a total of about $50,000 in that's some people's, school tuition, college tuition. But I took, however, in my mind, I was like, I have to get it done. It's gonna happen. So I started taking out loans, started buying like everything brand new, and not just brand new, like the best thing money can buy. That's what I was buying, with the money at the time. And I started buying stuff, and I started buying stuff. And like I said, God has always been with me, by my side. That's why I never give up. And every new project, every new thing I'm doing, it's God first. Primero Dios, siempre. And basically, I, with the money that I had from the loans, I started buying speakers, lights, all of this, blah blah blah. And then, because everyone was cooped up in 2020, everybody wanted to party, everybody wanted to be out, everybody, wanted to start enjoying life again, back to what, a little bit of normality before COVID. So the contracts just started flooding. I just started getting calls left and right. Allegedly, I was making, if Uncle Sam is watching, allegedly, some weekends I was closing out $5,000, $10,000 worth of contracts. It was crazy. I went from being, dirt broke to now being negative 50 bands. And now, the bank account started going up and up again. Like, I would get, like, it'd be a regular ass Monday, and somebody would go, hey, I'm gonna do a 15 años, cuánto cobras, And remember, back then I didn't charge, what I charge now. So it was definitely a little bit less than what I charge now. But cuánto cobras? Oh, tanto. Okay. When can I see you? I want to give you a deposit. Now, bro. I need the money now. You where you at, bro? But yeah, that's how, I started getting more and more contracts and more money, basically. And then basically, 90% of the money I was getting was going right back to my loans and paying it off, paying it off. Thank God that one summer of 2021, from June to like October, maybe around there, or August, I paid off the full $50,000 that I had taken out a couple months prior, which was, I was extremely blessed. Now I had all my equipment, I had everything. And that's when one day I looked at my storage room. Now, mind you, I don't have a crazy amount of equipment, but what I do have, I never imagined on having. Remember, I come from being a little, a young boy, thinking that a $60 controller was like crazy money to me. Um, so now having all this gear, I took a step back and I really realized what I had done and the potential I had, to, you know build the business and follow through with the business, not just because it's just like an idea now. It wasn't a hobby anymore, it was like a full-fledged business. And from then on, um the rest of the story. Basically, now I started Nova Events. Now, thank God we're a bigger team now. We have two DJs working with us. Well, one officially. Shout out to DJ Clader. He's a full-time Nova Events DJ for us. He works. We do a bunch of events with him. We have another DJ that's actually, we're waiting to sign. Um, I have like a full photography and video department, so we also do photo and video. We don't just do like DJ. We don't just DJ parties and quinceañeras. We also do photography and video, which is amazing. And man, there's so many more projects coming up. Definitely this year. Now we have the Chill Talk podcast, which, thank you guys, whoever's watching right. Yo, if you're watching right now, if you're still watching, honestly, I thought this episode was gonna be like 10 minutes, because I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be nervous as shit. I've never done this before. I'm very bad on camera. I could DJ in front of 3,000 people, but put me in front of a camera, oh man, I suck. I start stuttering like crazy. Have you ever seen me do videos on site at quinceañeras, bro? I repeat my shot like 33 times. So I'm actually kind of happy how this one's coming out. But yeah, so uh it's amazing that Nova Events has grown what it's been now. Like I said, we do the photography, video. Well, now we have the CHIDO Talk project, and I love it. I love every step of it. Now I'm not gonna say we're like super successful, and you know it's a straight way up. No, it's definitely not. And I've learned that the hard way. Because I've had a spike of just going up financially and opportunities and all of this, and then I've had a really crazy crash as well, which is like, it's just to expect. It's business. Um, I didn't know that that's how business worked. I thought it was just like, oh, if you once you start making it, you're gonna keep going up. But no, it's definitely not that. So there's definitely, definitely still to this day, there's struggles, with staffing, with contracts, with this, that, and the third. I'm the DJ, I'm the boss, I'm the manager. It's I wear a lot of hats in this business, but I am very happy and very blessed to be where I am, because this is all I dream for. Even with all the struggles and all the everything, this is what I dream for. And I've never, still to this day, I've never given up on it, and I'm never thinking of giving up on it. As God gives me more life, I will continue with this journey. And I know it may take me 5 years, it may take me 10 years, but the point is that I'm gonna continue, and one day I will succeed, because I know it. All it takes is consistency. One thing I've learned, I've started a fitness journey about 10 months ago, and one thing I realized is that you just have to keep putting the work in. You have to keep putting the work in. There is no half-assing things. That's what I used to do a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I used to half-ass things. Things didn't work out. So, the gym taught me to be, what consistency can give you. I was 250 some pounds. Now I'm like at 196 or something like that. And then we still got a long way to go. But it taught me that, over the course of, months or years, you will see a change. So I know there will be progress later on with DJ Nova Events. Now, Chilo Talk, I'm expecting an amazing journey with this. I'm very excited. This is one of the things that's had me the most excited for a really long time. Um, so I'm very excited to see where this goes. I'm very excited to see the journey. This 2025, I have so many goals. My top three goals right now would be to grow the YouTube channel of the Chido podcast, the Chido Talk podcast, for 10,000 subscribers within this year. I also want to pursue more DJ opportunities. So promoters, if you're out there, let me know. Hit me up. Hit my line. Um, I want to pursue more DJ opportunities. Want to DJ more places. Um, but and the main goal would be right now that I am trying to do and that I've been trying to do for the past year is get closer to God. I feel like we all go through this, especially around our 20s. We all go through this phase where we want everything done quick. We want everything done. And when it doesn't work out, you start blaming everything, everyone, you know, and you never trust God. We say we're religious, but we never, I'm not religious, but we say we believe in God. We say all of this, but we never really do, I feel, to the full extent of the word. And then this year, what it's taught me is to really, really believe in God and leave things to God's hands. If this podcast is going to blow up, it's going to blow up. If it doesn't blow up, it was meant to not blow up. But I know God, and I know God is always by my side. He's always been. So just trust God. And that's what I've been trying to do. And that's one of my major goals for this year is to get closer to God, have a closer connection to God, through the partying and through the everything. I still believe that you need a closer connection to God. You need to be, have a one-on-one with him every day, because we want everything so quick, so bad, and we never, we sometimes do too much, and all you need to do is just believe in God and keep working. That's simply it. But yeah, guys, this is the Chido Talk podcast. If you guys are still here, shout out to everyone that's still watching. If you are, I don't know, comment the word let's see, champurrado. Comment the word champurrado. If you're watching on YouTube, comment the word champurrado, and I will sell you. I'll choose one of you guys. I'll sell you. Yo les invito el champurrado, la torta, whatever. I'll sell you guys like $20 or something. Pon una torta, unos tacos, whatever you guys want. Comment the word champurrado, and I got you guys with quick torta or something like that, lunch maybe. So yeah, guys, I'm excited for you guys to see the growth and the journey of the Chido Talk podcast. We have a bunch of guests lined up for these coming weeks and months. I'm excited for you to see. We have a bunch of interesting people that you maybe want to know an insight of their life, how they started, what their future goals are. And yeah, this channel or this podcast, I would like to inspire you guys as a person not that made it, but as a person that is still in the struggle, that we're still fighting it out. Right now in social media, I feel like all you see is either super success or nothing, basically. Like you see this like crazy amount of success, and that's what kind of beats us. That's what kind of destroys us. That we want everything quick. We see what this person is doing, and we're like, well, how do they have a house? How do they have a Lamborghini? How do they have this? But remember, one thing is that we're not all on the same path. Everyone has their own path, and you just have to realize it. Not everyone is doing the same thing, and not everyone's in the same timeline. And another thing, that most of the stuff you see on social media is complete bullshit, complete BS. So, don't get that, because that will really drive you into like even a depression. That's a battle I've been battling for the past year. Um, Trying to get everything quick, trying to be the successful person quick, and trying to, do everything at the same time and do it before, in your early 20s or in your 20s. And the fact of the matter is that just keep working and your time will come. Keep working, stay close to God, and your time will come. It's your timeline, not theirs. So, like again, I want to make this podcast to, show people, maybe connect with people that are, they don't just see podcasts, or they don't just see people that are successful and they're like, nah, I can't do it. We're in the same struggle. This podcast, it started off as a joke, but I thought it through, and it's a very cool thing that I can, little side note. I really want to inspire people. So this is like one way to like try to help us out, everyone, because I want to tell you that you don't have to be super successful to start. You just have to start. Again, I'm not great in cameras. I'm not great with any of this, but I just needed to start, and this is the start of something new. But yeah, just start, just get going. Whatever it is you're in, just start. Again, we are in the same struggle. It's not like, I've already made it because I have like the companies and all this, and we're still in the same struggle. We're still in my 20s. I'm still in the struggle. I'm still trying to make it as well as you guys are. So let's just keep going together. Again, I'm excited, guys, for the next couple of episodes. We're interviewing a couple of really interesting people. I'm excited what this year has for us. Let me know what your guys' goals are for 2025. I'm really excited. Let me know who would you guys like to see in the pod, so I can send them an invite, and have them come to the pod. I'm very excited to talk to, like, me myself. I'm just excited to talk to the people that are going to be coming pretty soon. I want to know what inspired them, how they got their starts and stuff like that. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. If you guys are watching, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, all that. Yeah, that's so funny. I always wanted to say that. I always saw YouTubers like, I'm eating my torta or whatever, and the videos and everything. Please like and subscribe. I always wanted to say that. But yes, guys, please like and subscribe. Like I said, comment what I told you. I'll buy you your torta. I'll choose one of you guys, maybe two guys, two are girls, and I'll buy you guys your torta, whatever you guys want. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining me in this journey, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to come.
Pa'l cielo es que siempre agradezco, ya sea por lo mucho o lo poco que tengo, porque lo he logrado a base de esfuerzo.